Have you guys ever watched a show and you're watching and you're watching and you're watching and you ask yourself, maybe halfway through, why am I even watching this? Is there anything on this show that is even remotely entertaining? Is there anything on this show that is even remotely important for what I usually do here every Friday at 10 p.m. for you guys on the channel? I had a very difficult time finding anything important on this show, so much so that I asked Salrex via text about 10 minutes before I actually sat down in my chair, "Did you watch SmackDown tonight?" He said no. I'm like, I'm having a very difficult time coming up with a major topic for the show tonight. He's like, how about we talk about the simultaneous Money in the Bank ladder matches that we're going to be seeing at Titan Tower? I'm like, that's it. There you go. That's pretty much it. I could end the review right here. I could end the review legitimately right here, because outside of that, we've had nothing of importance on SmackDown, folks. It's like they're not even trying anymore. I don't even know why this show is in existence. I don't even know why this show is on Fox every Friday. I mean, they have to try harder than this, especially before a goddamn pay-per-view. My God, man. This show is absolutely... If you want irrelevant, if you want unimportant, just turn on SmackDown on Friday nights, man. We got Money in the Bank coming up, and I genuinely do not feel like there is even a pay-per-view in 10 days. I really don't. Not that I give a shit about the fucking pay-per-view, but I don't even feel like there is a pay-per-view. It's awful. Absolutely awful. The show just went from bad to worse because we had Baron Corbin in the opening segment, and then after his match with Daniel Bryan, we go right into Braun Strowman. Wow. You really want me to tune out? You want someone to tune out of SmackDown? Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman back to back? You ain't doing anything as far as engaging the audience there, Bruce. Jesus Christ. What happened on the show tonight? Daniel Bryan and Baron Corbin in the opening match. That was a first time ever. Apparently, they're fighting for momentum going into Money in the Bank, as if momentum now means a fucking thing in WWE going into the Money in the Bank briefcase, where both of these matches now, the men's and the women's, are going to be taking place simultaneously at the same time. So that answers that elusive question. How are they going to destroy Titan Tower in one match, make it all pretty for the second match, and then destroy it all over again? So we got the answer tonight. The big story about this is the Money in the Bank qualifiers for SmackDown. Mandy Rose and Carmella. I'm sure you guys are just gleaming with excitement over who gets into the Money in the Bank ladder match as far as the women go. Carmella and Mandy Rose, obviously Sonya Deville was going to be a factor in that match. And then we got Otis and Dolph Ziggler. You know, the one thing that I did not want to happen is happening. And WWE is pretty much labeling Tucker Knight of Heavy Machinery, if you guys might have forgotten at this point, because that's exactly what they want you to do, forget. Tucker Knight of Heavy Machinery, they labeled him non-essential. Otis is the only one that is worthy of essential business on SmackDown, but he is still, as far as I am concerned, in a tag team. So where is Heavy Machinery? This is what I'm going to really focus on when we talk about Otis and Dolph Ziggler. Now, I love Otis just as much as everybody else loves Otis. I wanted Otis to get his WrestleMania moment. I'm glad they paired him and Mandy. But you can't forget about Tucker. Otis and Tucker mean more to the tag team division than Otis does by himself, because we all know Otis will never amount to anything on his own. WWE and Vince McMahon primarily look at him as one big comedic oaf. So I would rather them be together in the tag team division and win the tag team titles and, I don't know, bring some priority and some importance to the tag team division instead of Otis just hanging around Mandy, who at the end of it all more than likely will dump him. So I don't know what's going on with that, but they got to rectify that and rectify that fast. Other than that, we got Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. We got nursery rhymes happening on SmackDown. All we needed was Andrew Dice Clay to come out there and chop good old Braun Strowman to pieces, you know? Andrew Dice Clay, hickory dickory dock. Your girl was sucking my cock, right? This is what we needed on SmackDown. We got Bray Wyatt reading nursery rhymes to Braun Strowman ahead of their WWE Universal Championship match. Awesome show tonight, right? Can't wait. Can't wait to talk about it because I love tonight's show so much that I wanted to fucking shut it off. You know, I see people tweeting on social media. I told you Guy Fieri is a ratings monster, bro. AEW and NXT, clearly the ratings aren't where they should be because of the CV-19, the plandemic. Everybody is raving that Guy Fieri and Guy's Grocery Games or Guy's Ultimate Challenge, whatever the fuck the guy's doing, he probably owns the fucking Food Network. He's all over the goddamn channel. Might as well call it the Guy Fieri channel. I think he got 1 million viewers on Wednesday night and beat both AEW and NXT. Tell you what, man, good old Guy Fieri is much more entertaining than whatever happened on SmackDown tonight. I think I might actually develop and find a new hobby on Friday nights. Nothing wrestling related, because this show sucks. Anyway, guys, that is the setup for what we're going to be talking about tonight. Legitimately, in all seriousness, nothing happened tonight on the show that is even worth talking about, but we'll try to make chicken salad out of chicken shit tonight on the SmackDown review. So thank you guys so much for joining me here on Off the Script. It is Friday, May 1st, 2020. If you missed my podcast earlier this afternoon, part 1 of episode 324 of the flagship podcast, Off the Script, make sure you guys go and check that out. Link is down below in the description of this very video. Is WWE about to be sold? Is Vince going to sell the WWE to Disney? Yes, I know ESPN is with Disney. Disney and Fox Sports is the other big name floating around in that rumor mill as far as potential sales of the WWE. Some people were telling me today, and I didn't know that upon recording the video on Thursday, that Disney actually owns a majority of Fox, which must be new, because I didn't really understand what people were talking about, but it's Disney, ESPN, and Fox Sports that potentially could be suitors for the WWE. We talk about that on top of the Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW news coming out of all the weekly shows, as always, on Friday's show. Excellent show. Go and check it out. Link is down below in the description of this very video. On top of AEW Dynamite, I did the Dynamite review with my boy Ticket Drew. We got Monday Night Raw with Jinder Mahal making his unfortunate return to Monday Night Raw. And anything else that you might have missed on the channel, everything you need is linked down below in the description. Follow me on social media, at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Let's try for, I know a lot of people didn't watch the show tonight, and you probably don't give a shit about this particular podcast, but hit that thumbs up, and let's try for 1,500 thumbs up tonight on the SmackDown review. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for all notifications, and if you guys want to support the podcast, you could always do that at Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206, and the podcast tonight is brought to you by my good friends over at Audible. You guys certainly know the deal, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Get yourself 30 days and 1 free audiobook of your choice. Absolutely no more than that. You sign up for free. They give you a free book. It's easy as Titus's fucking lemon meringue pie, bro. audibletrial.com/offthescript. So go and get yourself a free audiobook courtesy of yours truly. Daniel Bryan started the show. That's a good sign. Daniel Bryan. I always enjoy me some Daniel Bryan. Made his ring entrance. Michael Cole noted that Apollo Crews is now back in the executive chef role in catering. He suffered an injury. Actually, he shuffled some fucking potatoes in some olive oil. Apollo Crews suffered an injury. He didn't shuffle an injury, suffered an injury, and will be replaced by someone determined Jinder. Mahal. Oh, man. Listen, I don't have the CV. Don't worry about it. I have whatever illness Jinder Mahal gave me from Monday. It's still lingering. Bryan said it's no secret that he loves what he does. And at this stage of his career, one thing he loves the most is tackling new challenges and trying new things. I wish that was Bruce. I really wish Bruce would take Daniel Bryan's advice. He loves new challenges and he loves trying new things. This is everything but SmackDown on Fox. So that's why he's excited about the most unique Money in the Bank ladder match in history. He described the journey from the floor to the roof of the headquarters. He said he's competed in strange places like Western bars, gas station parking lots, and pawn shop parking lots. I wonder if he was in the Pawn Stars parking lot while they were trying to sell a Mickey Mantle rookie card and trying to weasel themselves out of a good deal over there in Las Vegas. This is his first time in an office building. I don't know the rules or the etiquette. He wondered if he could take the elevator to the roof, or will there be catering, or will he be... Oh, of course there'll be catering, bro. You kidding me? They brought in Titus. They knew Titus wasn't labeled an essential business, so they brought him in specifically for the fine people of Titan Tower. Believe me, Titus has a menu that is to die for at Money in the Bank. So, he wondered if there will be catering, no question. Or will he be fined if he breaks something really expensive? And he wondered if the rumor is true that Vince McMahon has real dinosaur bones in his office. I don't know. It might be human remains. We don't fucking know. We don't know, man. It might be due to a sacrifice, a satanic ritual done by Vince McMahon. We don't fucking know what happens there. Clearly, they're not writing good wrestling there. So something must be going on. He said he's also excited about the opportunity, and nobody knows more about what an opportunity the Money in the Bank briefcase provides is than him. Said nearly 9 years ago, he couldn't even get booked on SmackDown. Said he won the Money in the Bank ladder match, and shortly thereafter he cashed in on the Big Show. Cashed in on the Big Slow and won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship for the first time. He said Daniel Bryan was a world champion, and that was something most people thought was impossible. You know what else is impossible? For these fucking people to write a damn good wrestling show on Friday night. He said it was the pivotal moment of his WWE career, and it spawned the Yes Movement and him main eventing WrestleMania. He said if he fights for his dreams will fight for him. Nice recycled verbiage there, Bruce. I really appreciate the recycled verbiage by Daniel Bryan. He said he is excited, but also a little sad. Oh, me too. I feel you there, bro. Because he thought his friend and coach, Drew Gulak, would get to compete with him at Money in the Bank. He said King Corbin and his cronies ruined that for Drew. He called Corbin to the ring to settle it right now, and out came, unfortunately, Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin. Corbin told Bryan to be careful what he wishes for. I wanted to come up with one line. I couldn't think of one off the top of my head, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. We'll just move along here. We'll mosey on along. My kind makes your kind suffer, says Corbin. I suffer every week on Monday and Friday, Corbin. I know what suffering is. Apparently, you don't know what suffering is. You laugh at all of us suffering. He threw it to a video package of last week's match with Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura attacking Bryan at ringside. Then a distracted Gulak, who was shoved into the ring post by Baron Corbin before losing to an End of Days in the ring. Best thing that Baron Corbin owns is that End of Days. Afterward, Corbin hit Gulak with his scepter. Corbin told Bryan he will stand tall on top of his ladder looking down at his subjects as King Money in the Bank. Please, don't give me fucking some type of unknown disease thinking about Baron Corbin being Money in the Bank. Bryan asked if he wins, will he squander his opportunity like last time? Bryan smiled and said Corbin was one of only 4 people to completely blow the opportunity out of 23 winners. Oh, I remember that. Baron Corbin has me blocked on social media, but he doesn't remember me actually sticking up for him during that horrific moment when he could not even pin a Jinder Mahal sweaty and beaten after a 20-minute match with John Cena, rolled him up with a basic roll-up from behind and could not kick out. He laid there like a fucking moron. It's exactly what he looked like. Couldn't kick out. This guy was fresh, didn't appear on the show, tries to get one over on Jinder Mahal, and he loses. That's how terrible Baron Corbin was creatively booked back in that time when he was actually Money in the Bank winner. He said Bryan used to be young and hungry, and now he's tired and desperate. Sounds like Vince McMahon. He said, on the other hand, he's stronger and smarter than he was then, and he'll show Bryan tonight. Oh, man. First time ever, Bryan and Corbin face off one-on-one. Man, I can't wait. Bryan wins via DQ. The match was slow and methodical, and it wasn't bad, but Jesus Christ, man. You know, wrestling in front of no fans is bad. Baron Corbin wrestling in front of no fans is absolutely downright excruciating pain. It really is. It wasn't even that bad. Bryan made it halfway decent. Other than that, I could not give a single shit about this match whatsoever. I just can't. I can't bring myself to care about anything that Baron Corbin is doing or anything like this that is presented on the show that has absolutely no fucking meaning. No meaning. This is pretty much WWE taking two of the SmackDown guys, because there's 3 each from each brand, 2 of the SmackDown guys, and putting them in matches that are trying to build momentum going towards Money in the Bank, and you're not doing anything but actually you're ruining the entire Money in the Bank ladder match by having these 2 types of guys fight before the show. Mainly Baron Corbin. I could not give a shit. They're in. They have advanced. They're going to be there at the pay-per-view in the ladder match. Leave it as is. We don't need any types of match that build momentum going into the pay-per-view. I don't even know why these guys would want to fight before the pay-per-view, knowing that the ladder match is one of the most dreaded matches in WWE history. Now, the way that this match ended, they fought at ringside. Corbin threw a ladder that was standing up as a prop at Bryan. The referee DQ'd Corbin. He was yelling that it wasn't a DQ. That wasn't a DQ. Clearly it was. Baron Corbin should go and read the rules and regulations of a pro wrestling match. Corbin threw a fit and claimed it wasn't legal, or it wasn't illegal. And Cole pointed out that in the Money in the Bank ladder match, using the ladders would be legal. Oh, thank you, Michael Cole, for telling me something that I didn't already fucking know. Now, what makes me get my juices flowing, what makes my brain work here, is if this was the outcome that we were going to get, why did this match, A, happen, and B, why are you protecting Baron Corbin? Makes me wonder why they're protecting Baron Corbin in such a way. Now, if Baron Corbin lost, I would not worry about him going into the pay-per-view. I really wouldn't. Now, it's usually the opposite. If Baron Corbin lost going into the pay-per-view, then that would make him an odds-on favorite or one of the favorites to win the Money in the Bank ladder match or a match at the pay-per-view. The fact that they're protecting Baron Corbin is making me a little worried. Now, we'll wait and we'll reserve judgment until Monday because we don't know who is going to be in that Money in the Bank ladder match from the Raw side, being that Apollo Crews is now no longer in it. Could be anybody. Could be Murphy. Could be Andrade. It could be Garza. It could be Theory, right? Could be anybody. Could be anybody. Could be Jinder Mahal. Could be Jinder Mahal. I will wait and reserve judgment on who I think is going to win Money in the Bank after Monday Night Raw. If Jinder is not in, obviously I want Aleister Black to win. This is clear as day. Aleister Black is the right winner of the Money in the Bank ladder match. The guy has been absolutely on fire. And I don't give a shit if he's a babyface. Give him the Money in the Bank. Drew and Black is the money match on that brand. I don't give a shit what anybody else has to tell me. Okay? Normally, the heels get the Money in the Bank, and it works that way. You know? If there's a babyface champion, then a heel's supposed to get it. If there's a heel champion, then the babyface is supposed to get it. I don't want them to go the predictable route here. I really don't. I want the right winner to be Aleister Black. That's the right winner. If Jinder Mahal is not in the match, if Jinder Mahal's not in the match, clearly I want Black to win, but I have a sneaking suspicion that WWE is going to give this to Baron Corbin. I swear on my grandfather's tomb, I feel it in my soul that they're going to give it to Baron Corbin, and that would be absolutely downright treacherous in every sense of the word. SmackDown you thought was unwatchable with Braun Strowman as Universal Champion. Can you imagine Baron Corbin as Universal Champion on SmackDown? I can't do it, man. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to give myself a sleepless night over it. It is just a terrible, terrible, terrible concept that I hope WWE doesn't go down or WWE doesn't make a reality. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. And the fact that they protected him here makes me worry that they're going to actually do that. Bryan wins by DQ. It was slow. It was methodical. It picked up the pace towards the end. Nobody gives a shit. It didn't matter. It was unimportant. And Baron Corbin is definitely, in WWE's eyes, one of the odds-on favorites to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. After the match, Bryan put Corbin in a yes lock on the ladder, flat, face first in the ring. Shinsuke Nakamura came from behind and gave him a Kinshasa. Cesaro jumped Bryan as well. Corbin threw Bryan off the stage onto some ladders, and he collapsed all of the ladders that were standing still on the aisleway as props for Money in the Bank. And then he held up his scepter, wore his crown, looked like a fucking geek, and that was the end of the segment. Awesome. Alexa Bliss presented Baron Corbin. Here I am with fucking Baron Corbin. I can't tell they're both fucking terrible. Alexa Bliss presented Braun Strowman with a t-shirt. He wiped his face, and Bliss was grossed out when he handed it back to her. Yeah, they're really abiding by the CDC rules and regulations there, right? There you go. Braun Strowman clearly is not following the rules and regulations of the CV-19. So, Braun Strowman entered the ring. He began talking about last week's Firefly Fun House and their relationship over the year. Or actually, there wasn't a Firefly Fun House last week. There was a present given to Braun Strowman last week. So we got a Firefly Fun House this week. And Bray interrupted with the Firefly Fun House. Bray said it was story time. He says it's a true story called The Black Sheep. Now, the only black sheep that I give a shit about is the one with David Spade and Chris Farley. Remember that? That was a great movie. That's the only black sheep that I recall. This black sheep is of no interest to me. He said he looked a bit like Braun Strowman and smelled a little funny, but he was stronger than every other animal on the farm. He said that the shepherd, who was handsome and very smart and had a ton of sweet muscles, noticed the black sheep wandering along. He took him into his home. The shepherd raised the black sheep and taught him well. He said in return, the black sheep protected the shepherd's farm. They had a lot of fun together. But one day, the selfish black sheep left in search of greener pastures. He didn't say thank you or even goodbye. He didn't leave and say goodbye, or he goes on to say the good shepherd was very sad. He said the shepherd cried, but it fell on deaf ears, and eventually his other animals abandoned him as well. The shepherd was all alone. Even worse, the government put a lien on his property and took his farm, and the reptilians took over because that's what reptilians do. The end. He said, and then he slammed the book, and that was the end of the story. Let's come up with a happier ending. The one where the shepherd finds the black sheep and reminds him of his mistakes. Obviously, he went into an angry voice reading this next line. Where the shepherd finds the black sheep and reminds him of his mistakes and takes away what makes him happy most. He said the shepherd will take the black sheep to the slaughterhouse. Braun then obviously interrupted and said, enough with the puppets and the Firefly Fun House. He said for Bray to come to the ring if he has any more to say to him face to face. Bray looked on, and all he did was wave goodbye. And that was the end of the segment. So, they're pretty much telling you, in rehashed version, the story of Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. They did this in a few different variations. Clearly, they had the black sheep mask, and they presented Braun Strowman the black sheep mask. They did a highlight package or a video package on Braun Strowman's time. That was a very short stint, by the way, in the Wyatt family. And now they're taking whatever they did in the video package and they're making it into a fucking nursery rhyme for the little kids out there to understand a little bit better. This is all that they're doing, folks. They're taking one idea and one concept about this feud and they're rehashing it week after week after week in different variations. Is it something that I care about? Of course not. I don't know who out there is interested enough or finds this to be championship worthy, championship feud worthy. The fact that they're taking something as unimportant as Braun Strowman's run in the Wyatt family. He was in the Wyatt family for so short that he never even made an impact on the Wyatt family. If Braun Strowman wasn't in the Wyatt family, it wouldn't have done a goddamn thing, good or bad, with the Wyatt family. If he was there, he didn't add anything to it. If he wasn't there, it wouldn't have taken away from the Wyatt family. They're making Braun Strowman's time in the Wyatt family, which was unimportant. Nothing happened with Braun Strowman and the Wyatt family. Nothing. What did he do in the Wyatt family that I should fucking sit here and care about now that he's feuding over the fucking Universal Championship with Bray Wyatt? What? They're taking this one concept of him being in the Wyatt family and they're giving it to you week after week after week in different variations and they expect me to fucking care about this bullshit. And the one thing I mentioned last week, this isn't The Fiend. This isn't The Fiend. This is Mr. Rogers' human fucking sweater vest, Bray Wyatt, against Braun Strowman. Now, that worries me. What is the outcome going to be? Are we going to see The Fiend at Money in the Bank? Is he going to be in the match? Is it going to be cinematic? I don't know. I don't know what WWE's got planned for these two guys. But the fact that he's not The Fiend and he's just Bray Wyatt means to me that WWE somehow is going to give us a fuck finish, and then we're going to get Bray Wyatt not getting the job done, but The Fiend, for the next pay-per-view, is going to get the job done, and goodbye Braun Strowman. And then whoever is the Universal Championship #1 contender, I guess that's going to be Bray Wyatt's feud going into SummerSlam. At this point, I don't know who that's going to be. It might end up being Jeff Hardy, for all we know. Jeff Hardy's going to get done with Sheamus. I could absolutely see Bray Wyatt winning at the June pay-per-view and then building a feud with Jeff Hardy and going over all of Jeff Hardy's demons, which should be a lot more entertaining than fucking Braun Strowman's 2-month stint in the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt versus Jeff Hardy, The Fiend versus Jeff Hardy at SummerSlam for the WWE Universal Championship. I don't know. That's my prediction. But either way, it seems like they're giving the title, or at least heading in that direction, giving the title back to Bray Wyatt, only for him to eventually lose it again. Again, I don't even know why this man lost the title in the first place. This is what you don't understand. Every single decision that they make from here on out is going to make that Goldberg win at the February Saudi show, and it's going to enhance it. It's going to make that decision look every single time that much worse. This is what they don't get. Bray Wyatt should win the title at Money in the Bank and forget about this fucking goon, Braun Strowman. But we're going to get another match out of it. WWE seems to not have anything else going on. There's no other challengers ready at this moment for the Universal Championship. So they're probably going to get another match out of these guys and prolong it and make it fucking boring. And it's going to shit the fucking bed, as always. And we're going to get some bullshit at Money in the Bank. And then we'll get another match at the June pay-per-view. Whatever the fuck that pay-per-view is. To be determined right now. Because I was the 1 month that didn't have a pay-per-view. This is my feeling. This is my thought on the Universal Championship title picture. Let me know what you guys think down below. I am not feeling it whatsoever. I'm really not. Sheamus versus Leon Ruff. To say that Leon Ruff had a rough time tonight is a fucking understatement. 2 minutes, Sheamus absolutely destroyed this guy. Beat the ever-living shit out of him. Backbreakers, punches to the chest, and then a bro kick. Sheamus looks fucking great. Sheamus looks fantastic, man. He looks to be in the best physical condition of his life. Sheamus. I'm a big fan of Sheamus, man. The fact that he did not factor into the IC title going to WrestleMania. Mistake. The fact that Sheamus is not the one taking the title off of Braun Strowman, that's also a mistake as well. You know? I would have much rather seen Sheamus and Braun Strowman than Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. At least with that, we would have got something of a big Haas fucking bar fight. You know, that would have looked legit. Those two guys would have beat the shit out of each other, man. Sheamus and Braun Strowman, I think, would have been a decent matchup with both of those guys' styles clashing very nicely. 2 minutes, bro kick. Sheamus went to ringside to complain to Michael Cole that he was probably going to talk about Jeff Hardy some more, and Cole said, in fact, they are now scheduled up next to air the latest Jeff Hardy video, The Comeback. This showed Hardy reacting to the news that he was cleared. He said there is something left for him in the WWE. They showed some Hardy highlights. I know I have it in me to get back to doing what I do and better than I've ever done it, said Jeff Hardy. So Jeff Hardy then returns next week, Michael Cole said, to SmackDown in person. Sheamus was standing there during this entire video package airing for us at home. He was still standing there in front of Michael Cole. He leaned into Michael Cole's face and into his microphone, and he said, "Oh, Jeff Hardy's going to be back next week. That's good. That's good. So will I." And he laughed and walked away from Michael Cole. First of all, Sheamus looks great. I've been loving what they're doing with the Jeff and Sheamus feud, even though I don't agree with it. Sheamus' interactions with Michael Cole have been fantastic because I just genuinely don't like Michael Cole. I think he sucks. And the fact that Sheamus has been bullying Michael Cole, I just find it to be downright hilarious. I don't understand the feud with Jeff Hardy because Sheamus himself needs momentum. Sheamus himself needs to be built as a monster with a ton of credibility behind him so that he can go on his own path and maybe capture a championship or two. And then Jeff Hardy could go on his own path and he can do what he's got to do. And eventually these two guys, when they're built up enough, come together and they do what they got to do in a match. And it really just makes it feel important. And that's not happening. That's not really happening. What is happening is WWE is building Sheamus up through these squash matches that really don't need to happen because we all know how brutal Sheamus can be. We all know how legit Sheamus is. And they're really just selling the fact that Sheamus is a dominating beast. And they're about to feed him to Jeff Hardy during Jeff Hardy's return. So what does that mean for Sheamus? You think Sheamus is immune? You think Sheamus is just going to take a loss from Jeff Hardy and then, that's not what people are going to think about. Sheamus needs to be his own. Jeff Hardy needs to be his own. They should stay away from each other. This is not the type of guy that you come back and feud Jeff Hardy with. After all the work that you've done to build credibility and get Sheamus back on TV and get him back to a point where we all look at him and say, you know what, I think he's ready to move on to that next feud. You're going to put him in a feud with somebody else who needs to win just as much as he does? I don't understand that. Not really what I call wrestling 101 there, Bruce. So it should be interesting. What's been built has been very good, but I don't think the feud is going to amount to anything in Sheamus' favor. I don't. Kayla Braxton interviewed Mandy Rose and Otis. Otis talking about beating Dolph Ziggler. Kayla asked about Mandy having a tough few weeks. A tough few weeks? Jesus Christ, just watch fucking SmackDown for a couple of weeks. Considering what's going on with their best friend, Sonya Deville. Sonya is the ex-best friend of Mandy Rose, says Mandy Rose. Mandy said, what Sonya did hurt her, but she's looking forward, not back, and her focus tonight is on Carmella. She said she's a former champion who also won Money in the Bank before. She said she and Otis are both going to qualify tonight and win Money in the Bank because the risk is worth the reward. And Otis did his, oh yeah! There you go. No Tucker Knight, by the way. Mandy Rose versus Carmella, Money in the Bank qualifier. If I watched about 30 seconds of this match, you'd be lucky. Carmella wins in 4 minutes. I did watch the post-match beatdown by Sonya Deville, though. So Carmella wins in 4 minutes, and I said to myself, I guarantee you Sonya Deville is going to come out here and cost Mandy Rose this Money in the Bank qualifier. After the match was over, by the way, Carmella kicked Mandy in the face because of Sonya's distraction. She was on the ramp yelling into a microphone, "Karma's a bitch, bring it on." So Carmella took advantage, kicked to Mandy's face, and she smiled from the ramp, did Sonya, and Carmella pinned Mandy Rose to advance to Money in the Bank. After the match was over, Sonya attacked Mandy in the ring, punching away very aggressively, very intense. She yelled, "You will never be better than me. Do you understand me?" She threw her to the floor and then into the ring post and then into the ringside steps. She charged at her and drove her knee right into the back of her head, sending her into the steps again. Cole said Sonya has snapped. Jamie Noble ran out. Charles Robinson ran out with some fucking doctors, it looked like. That's what I seen. Noble called for a trainer. There you go. Sonya yelled, "I will end you. I will end you, Mandy." Robinson was holding her back. Mandy sat up and was all groggy and selling the injuries and selling the attack. "I will ruin your life," yelled Sonya. "Do you understand me?" WWE has ruined our lives on Monday and Friday, folks. I thought this was great. Sonya actually came off a lot better to me here tonight than she did in that solo promo that she cut on Mandy a couple weeks back. I think the intensity was a lot better here. The acting was a lot better here. She was a lot more believable here. And the intensity was there. Sonya is looking like a legit badass. And I honestly think this is the best that Sonya has ever looked on her main roster run. And I honestly think she looks very good standing next to Dolph Ziggler. I think that could be a nice 1-2 punch in WWE if booked right. But I doubt they will do anything right by those two because Dolph Ziggler's a loser and Mandy Rose is blonde. Sonya is not. So you can tell where that's going to end up. And it's tough to get invested when you know that what you think should be never comes to be. So moving on from that, backstage, Otis checked on Mandy as she was being attended to by the trainer. She and the trainer told Otis that she will be fine. Dolph then came up and asked Otis if Mandy was okay. He looked, stared a hole right through Dolph Ziggler, started breathing heavy. Dolph wanted nothing to do with Otis. He backed away, and that was it. New Day, Big E and Kofi Kingston versus the Forgotten Sons, Wesley Blake, Steve Cutler with Jackson Riker, who got his jacket stolen. We talked about that on Fridays off the script. Why is he getting his jacket stolen? I don't know. But if you're the culprit and have sold it on eBay, I would be very curious to know what you sold it for. I would really like to know. So the New Day and the Forgotten Sons, this was not bad at all. The Forgotten Sons, you know, they are a hit and miss team. They really are. You're going to get the majority of the people that don't like them. You're going to get the majority of the people saying that they're boring. You're going to get the majority of the people that don't really understand what their gimmick is about, and that's all on WWE, or why I should care about them. That's on WWE. The one thing that stood out, listen, the Forgotten Sons are a great tag team. I know they can work. They're just not over. They're just one of those teams that is excellent at what they do. And I said this going back to their last stint in the Dusty Classic. This last Dusty Classic was fucking great for them. You know? Not this one. The one where Aleister Black and Ricochet won, I think. I think that's the one. Or lost. Well, actually, no, they won. They won the right. I'm all confused right now. They won that Dusty Classic and won the right to face the Viking Raiders, and then they lost. But the Forgotten Sons were in that, and they looked phenomenal. They looked phenomenal. So, we got the Forgotten Sons on SmackDown. They're excellent at what they do. And, again, it's just something that's hit and miss with them. You're going to get all these people that don't like them, but that's WWE's job. And the one takeaway I took away from this match is the fact that WWE has John Morrison and The Miz on commentary. And Michael Cole and Corey Graves are, I guess, going back and forth with John Morrison and The Miz. And they're not really paying attention to anything that the Forgotten Sons are doing. This is my criticism of how WWE, just mistreats talent. I don't understand it. I'm looking at this and I'm like, why isn't the priority? Why isn't the focus on the Forgotten Sons? They are doing everything but getting these guys over in the ring, getting their moves over, giving me some sort of background on them, going over their background as to what they added to the overall tag team division last week and what they said they were real Marines and etc., etc. We didn't get anything added to what they said last week. Nothing. We got The Miz and Morrison shilling their fucking movie, or The Miz, rather, shilling his fucking movie, the main event, which he said is in the top 10 of Netflix movies for the week. Jesse, my boy Jesse, did some research. I double-checked his research. False information. The main event movie on Netflix is nowhere near the top 10, so I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but it's The Miz. He's a notorious liar. And if you're going to throw information out there like that, at least make it seem like it's correct, please. But they got these guys shilling themselves and shilling their movies and shilling their fucking hey, hey, ho, ho t-shirts and their fucking shitty cringe YouTube videos. And you're not doing anything to get the Forgotten Sons over. All the attention is on what these guys are saying. And none of the attention is on what's going on in the ring. So why is anybody at the end of the day going to care about the fucking Forgotten Sons? You're literally doing everything in your power to make sure that people do forget about them. This is how WWE mistreats and mishandles talent. If you're a commentator, this is their third week on the show, and they're already just feeling not special at all. If you're a commentator like Michael Cole and Corey Graves, make sure the priority is on the talent in the ring in this early stage of their main roster run. Because you're already telling me and telling the audience at home, whatever the Miz and Morrison are talking about is more important than this new tag team that has been added to the SmackDown Tag Team division. I hate it. I fucking hate it. And this is why I shit on the WWE product when I have every chance to do so. Forgotten Sons actually won. They beat the New Day. So at least something right happened here. Now, what this means, I don't know. They'll probably get a tag team title match at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And I want to see if WWE does something right again with the Forgotten Sons. They got it right here. They should have won. I don't know why they were in the fucking ring against the New Day. I don't know why they have to get a tag team title match by beating the fucking champions. Why can't they beat Miz and Morrison? Why can't they beat Miz and Morrison? They beat the Lucha House Party, right? Why can't they go and beat Miz and Morrison? Then at that point, then you could put them against the Usos and have them beat the Usos and then go on to the New Day. But now, what you're setting yourself up for is you're booking yourself into a corner. If the Forgotten Sons beat the New Day here tonight, now they're automatically number one contenders, which means they're going to get a tag team title match at the pay-per-view. If they win tonight, then they most certainly should win at the pay-per-view. Now, what you're doing is you're booking yourself into a corner. If they don't beat the New Day at the pay-per-view, then they're automatically fucking dead and buried. So you have one choice and one choice only at the pay-per-view, and that is to get them with the tag team championships. But do you see the WWE putting the tag team titles on the New Day just a couple weeks ago, only to take them off the New Day at Money in the Bank to the fucking Forgotten Sons? WWE is treating the Forgotten Sons like, oh, here's another new team. We'll just feed them to the fucking New Day, and that's it. If they don't beat the New Day in their tag team title match, then there's no sense in fucking doing anything with them. They're dead. They're buried. And I don't want to hear people saying I'm throwing the word around very loosely. They would be buried. You booked yourself into a corner now. They beat the New Day here. They need to beat the New Day at the pay-per-view. You can't go into Money in the Bank and have them lose, because at that point, then there's no reason why they even exist on their show. So that was that. Riker threw Big E into the ring post. Kofi mounted Cutler in the corner. Blake tagged in. Sons led in a double-team top rope stomp on Kofi's chest, and that was it. Decent match. Again, the New Day, excellent at what they do when they show up. The Forgotten Sons are very good at what they do. Just very difficult to care about them, because this is why WWE fails to build up talent. There's no reason to care when I don't know what they are about. Do a better job. They went to Cole and Graves. Cole announced that the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder match will take place at the same time. So they showed a drone shot of the roof with the setup for Money in the Bank on top of Titan Tower. The ring and ladders were already set up. The matches, I believe, is already filmed, or the matches are already filmed. And Graves said everyone will be forced to risk it all to win. Cole then went on to show a highlighted package of Lacy Evans qualifying over Sasha Banks for Money in the Bank, and then Tamina Snuka super kicking Bayley on the stage afterwards. Let's talk about this Money in the Bank situation. That is going to be one major clusterfuck on Mother's Day. Seriously. I guess this makes everything a lot easier for WWE, because there was no possible way that they were going to have, and you know they have to add the women's agenda to this overall situation, right? If the men going to have a cinematic match, then the women have to have a cinematic match, right? They're not going to have one men's match. They're not going to have one ladder match, destroy Titan Tower, and then redo it and pretty it up again, only to destroy it again. So their idea is, let's film this, make it easier on everybody. Let's film both ladder matches at the same time. We'll have the men and the women climb the corporate ladder together. So Titan Tower is going to be demolished by 12 individuals, 6 men and 6 women, on Mother's Day Sunday. I guess it makes it easier to film, and I guess this makes sense of how WWE is going to shoot the match, or how they shot the match. They can't do one and not the other. They can't do one and then do the other, because it would look stupid. It would look ridiculous. One match destroys the headquarters, and then the other match goes right into the destruction afterwards. Doesn't make sense. So they're doing it at the same time. It's going to be a clusterfuck. I don't know how they're going to pull this off. I really don't. I'm assuming it's going to be cinematic. If it is cinematic, I hope that there's no fucking commentary whatsoever, exactly like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano were in the empty Full Sail University match that they had. No commentary, cinematic, make it fun, make it exciting, make it different. Just spice it up a little bit with doing something different, shooting it different. I think it could be good. But 12 individuals in the same shot, in the same match, ascending the floors of Titan Tower, man, oh man. It's going to be a crazy, crazy fucking night. A huge clusterfuck. I don't know what to expect. I think people, just by the premise of it and the whole setup of it, are more intrigued than anything. But I can't see this at the end of the night being something that is going to go down in history as like, oh my God, this was fucking great. I really don't see it that way. I really don't. But I've been proven wrong before. So we'll see what happens at Money in the Bank. But both of these matches are happening at the same time. Legitimately, the first time ever that the men's and the women's Money in the Bank ladder match are going to happen at the same time. Kayla then interviewed Tamina Snuka backstage, who blocked me on social media, by the way. She blocked me on social media. I don't know what I did or what I said that other people in the community did not say. So there you have it. Tamina says it took 4 women to beat her at WrestleMania. She said she won't be intimidated by a bunch of bratty, disrespectful, mean girls trying to intimidate her. Sasha then walked up and tried to make nice. Sasha looked fantastic, by the way, tonight. She said they go way back and fought side by side in the past. You helped me more than you could ever imagine. She said, I can never forget how kind you were when I first came here. She said they can carry themselves as strong, proud, kick-ass women that they know they are. She said they shouldn't resort to name-calling and cheap shots. Bayley then came from behind and jumped Tamina from behind. Sasha then joined in. Lacy then came to make the save. We had referees and producers break it all up. And it was ridiculous. And this all leads to a tag team match next week. We got Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Tamina Snuka and Lacey Evans. And it's just not my cup of tea, folks. I mean, Lacy is bad on her own. Tamina is fucking miserable on her own. Now we got Lacy and Tamina teaming up next week on SmackDown. I'm not even going to bother watching the match and try to enjoy it. I'm going to have a little clicker in my hand and count how many botches come out of the team of Tamina and Lacey Evans next week on SmackDown Live. I will report to you how many botches are in the match next week, same time, same channel, right here on the SmackDown review. I'm expecting about double digits coming out of that tag team match. Dolph Ziggler with Sonya was backstage. This was a fantastic promo by Dolph Ziggler. I wish I could actually believe the words that are coming out of his mouth, but in the end, and not for any fault of his own, because of WWE's shitty booking and creative, Dolph Ziggler is a glorified loser. Simple. But this was a fantastic promo, and nothing he says I take seriously, because everything he says sounds good and never lives up to anything he says. Sonya said she wishes she was there to witness how Otis reacted when he asked Otis how Mandy was doing. Sonya said she really hurt Mandy, and she's sure Ziggler will really beat Otis. She said fans like Otis because they can relate to him and imagine drinking beers with him on their couch. We know guys like that never really win, he said. They get pats on the back, sympathy likes, the occasional participatory awards. He said they start to believe that heart actually matters more than skill or hard work or talent. With a little luck, they can get some more moral victories along the way. He said he'll be in the ring doing what he does better than anyone else and will qualify and win Money in the Bank and then cash in the contract again. I'm going to be champion again. He looked up at the ceiling like he was just envisioning himself climbing the ladder and pulling down the briefcase. He closed this promo by saying after Sonya is done hurting Mandy, he will slide right up next to her as the new champ and make her feel better. And then Sonya, with a sadistic smile on her face, says, "Sounds like a plan to me." Good promo. No yelling, no over-the-top antics here. It was just very direct. Talked about what was most important to him, and that is winning Money in the Bank. First of all, taking out Otis, winning Money in the Bank, winning the briefcase, cashing in again like he did all those fucking many years ago. That was an epic moment. He wants to relive that and wants to do it again. Sounds great. But there's absolutely no reason to believe anything that comes out of the mouth of Dolph Ziggler. Nothing. Nothing the man says holds any weight. Nothing the man says holds any credibility whatsoever. So why am I going to believe Dolph Ziggler? Great promo. And then we get him in the next match against Otis. And what do you think happens? Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. 13 minutes. Otis and Dolph was the main event of SmackDown. And Otis wins. He beats Dolph Ziggler to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, this one was all Otis. All Otis in the first half. Go to commercial break. And then Otis gets shoved into the ringside barricade. We go to commercial break. Ziggler is in control after the break. Otis began shaking off Ziggler's attack and no selling. He was building himself up to the caterpillar. Ziggler moved out of the way. Ziggler went for a famouser. Otis blocked it. Ziggler hit a zigzag instead of a near fall. And went for a near fall. And Otis avoided a super kick and an overhead toss to Ziggler. Then he landed the caterpillar for the win. So Otis beats Dolph Ziggler with a caterpillar elbow to advance to the Money in the Bank. So we got Otis in the Money in the Bank. Otis, then Michael Cole said this was the biggest win of Otis's career. And that's the way SmackDown went off the air, with Otis celebrating and looking on at the Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't really understand WWE. I really don't. I get that WWE is trying to continue the story of Otis and Mandy. I get it. And the next chapter in the story was Mandy and Sonya. But Otis and Dolph really don't have any say. You know, they do, but they don't at the same time. Otis got the girl. Okay? Dolph beating Otis to get to the Money in the Bank briefcase, that would have been a continuation further of the storyline between them, but he didn't. Now he lost. So now he should absolutely give up on Otis, chasing Otis, and give up on Mandy. Because everything he said in that promo was just something that went right out the window. I don't get why Otis is being treated like a singles guy. I don't. He beat Dolph. He overcame all the odds. He defied the law. He got the girl. He got the WrestleMania moment. He got the kiss. That's it. Now it's about Sonya and Mandy, with Dolph and Otis playing background players. They are not the stars of this show. They were, and they are no longer. Now it's Otis and Dolph in the background with Mandy and Sonya being the spotlight here. I don't get why Otis is not with Tucker. I don't get how anybody sees Otis. You could love Otis. I love Otis. You love Otis. I don't see how Otis being by himself is more beneficial to the brand, SmackDown, than him with Tucker. The WWE Tag Team Division right now is in fucking shambles. The WWE Tag Team Division could use top teams. Heavy Machinery is a top team that is incredibly over for what you did with Otis. I don't know what you're doing with Tucker Knight. I don't. But I hope to God that they don't break these guys up, because that would be a real shame. Otis is a great performer. Otis is not a singles guy that is going to amount to anything. He's not. He's not going to win championships on his own. He's not going to be pushed as a main event guy on his own. In fact, all you're doing right now is a double negative. You're keeping Otis at a ceiling. Singles, you're keeping him at a ceiling. And you're actually hurting Tucker Knight in the process, because you're taking Tucker away from the only thing that's going to keep him relevant with Otis in Heavy Machinery. So what is the purpose of this? Why are you doing this with Tucker and Otis? Meanwhile, you got Otis by himself and Tucker not doing anything, and nobody realizes that they are greater together. The tag team division is greater with them. I don't see how anybody could look at this and think this is a good thing. I'm not saying you can't continue the storyline, but Jesus Christ, at least give everybody a fucking refresher that Otis is in Heavy Machinery. He has a tag team partner. He's just taking care of business. There's no reason why Otis should be in the Money in the Bank. None. None. I love him, but he doesn't belong there. I love him, but that's not a spot for him. He's not a singles wrestler. He's a tag team wrestler. He's in the Money in the Bank for what? He's not going to win Money in the Bank. If he's not in it to win it, if he's not there to have a legitimate shot to win it, if you look at that field and look at everybody else, they have a shot. Otis does not. Why is he there? Why is he there? I don't get why they make these fucking dumbass decisions. It doesn't make sense creatively, and it doesn't make sense logically. You're taking away from one division to put him in a singles role, and having him in a singles role does nothing for SmackDown. You're actually hurting the tag team division by taking away another solid, legit tag team that was incredibly over, that never got the ball rolling because you took the ball out from underneath them. How do you know what you got unless you just throw it out there and let it fucking fly? That's what they didn't do with Heavy Machinery. I can't stand creative messes like that, man. Now, I might be going a little bit overboard. I might be worrying for no reason. But by the looks of it, it looks like Otis is singles, and goodbye, Tucker. I don't understand why they did what they did. Otis is in Money in the Bank. He's not going to win it. So why is he even there? You got to give me people in the match that actually have a legit shot of winning the match. Now you got all these other guys and Otis. Everybody looks at Otis. Nobody thinks he's going to win. Otis and Heavy Machinery need to be in the tag team division. Otis has no place being a singles performer on SmackDown Live. I'm sorry. I'm getting the hell out of here, man. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. If you enjoyed the podcast, let me know what you think down below. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys missed any of the content that I uploaded previously on the channel earlier this past week, make sure you guys check out the links down below. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And I will see you guys right back here for Off the Script Part 2. Remember, Part 1 is down in the description below. Go and check it out. We talk about the potential sale of WWE to Disney, ESPN, or Fox. So make sure you guys go and check that out. And I'll be back right here tomorrow afternoon with Part 2 of OTS. Thank you guys so very much, and I'll see you then right back here on episode 324, part number 2. Have a good night, guys.